really, we kind of need to look at the whole issue of this award system. It's all just a bunch of Hollywood back scratching, like, oh, you give me an award because your movie was yada, yada, yada. It's not based in reality. The best movie doesn't actually win.
I've been on hormone blockers for nearly 2 weeks now, and like I said, I'm so messed up from them, I'm probably going to lose anyway. But I can send that tape to a college, and I might get a scholarship, Julie. So don't look at me with your eyes looking at me all mean. I'm out here trying to change for you. This is women's rights. I'm standing up for women's rights.
What happens? How do they respond? Do they just pretend like that didn't happen and go back to business as usual? Do they offer any kind of response?
Well, no. I mean, you can tell they're shell-shocked, and I got to post a video of the reverse angle of their faces. But some city councilmen have a sense of humor. Like, Jason, not everybody is a robot android, but the people that love this rhetoric, the people that are, on the loony left, of course, they're offended. They're like, oh, they look at me with their, with their stink face, like they just, like somebody just cut a fart or something. They look at you negatively, but there's people there that get the joke. There's people there that actually have a sense of humor. And really, when I go there and I do this thing, I want to draw them off sides. I told you that earlier. The problem is when you go to these meetings, people are usually nervous because you're speaking in front of the mayor, and that's typical. But I've seen people go there and talk about how Child Protective Services took their kids because they got a DWI for a small thing and their lives are ruined. I saw people, and the city council does nothing. I've heard people were a city building caught on fire and their house caught on fire and the city's not doing anything to help them. So there's serious issues, and the mayor and the council members will sit there stone-faced. They won't even respond. So for me, when I started going to these meetings, I was very earnest. I was telling them, hey, I think some of these pandemic measures are a little too far. I think, what you're doing is not correct. I don't really think this is helping. They looked at me like I was an idiot. And then the first thing I said, Jason, our mayor is a guy named Mayor Eric Johnson. And I said, hey, they kept on complaining about the vaccine numbers. And I said, hey, Mayor Johnson, all you got to do is this. You just got to say, hey, in the gay community, you're going to say Mayor Johnson's free Johnson & Johnson. And I go, the gay community will love that because they love double entendres. But then I said, and they would love it from the first openly gay mayor of Dallas. And he's not openly gay. He's married to 3 kids. And that's the first time he's like, what'd you say? What did you say? I was like, oh, that you're a gay mayor. I drove him right outside. And then I realized the bell went off in my head. I go, oh my gosh, I shouldn't just tell one joke during my speech. I should make the whole thing a joke. And I should call him out on the hypocrisy, because at the end of the day, we've gone so far left that, like you said earlier, just putting a mirror to it, it shows you at the end of the day, they're silly, they're goofy. Their whole agenda is not based in, doesn't make any sense, like letting a male compete against women. What does that do for our women, Jason? Imagine a girl her whole life, every weekend in a pool, every day, high school, gets to college, she makes it to the NCAA championships, and she gets second place to a person that swam on the boys team for 3 years. And then the media cheerleads it. Oh, this is great. This is what we need. This is the future. If that's the future, Jason, we are totally screwed, in my opinion. But this is the same Will Smith that we know lets other men sleep with his wife. Like, she's gone on her show, Red Table Diaries or whatever it's called, talking about how she's dated other guys, Alfonso something. So this is a guy that's obviously all about his appearance, because you and I, if my wife was doing that, we'd be divorced. I would never let that slip, no matter how long I'd been with her. So he doesn't really care about Jada Pinkett Smith. He cares about what people think about him. He cares about the appearance of his ego, and that's just a typical issue where it comes to Hollywood. It's like all about their ego. He's wins the award, but see, there's a lot of lies with this, because you notice they say that the Academy Awards asked him to leave, and that was a lie. So even the Academy Awards is trying to virtue signal. So it's all just a fake virtue signal that Bill Maher points out. Nobody cares. Nobody cared that he made a joke about his wife, but he felt obligated to stand up there because his ego was so big and he didn't want to go home and have his wife get mad at him. So he had to go up there and really, I guess, do something that probably you and I at a bar or something, a bar fight, that might make sense if somebody, touched your girlfriend's butt. But to do this on the biggest stage at the Academy Awards, Will Smith's smarter than that. He knew that there would be some sort of repercussions. And for me, I almost think it's some sort of publicity stunt, because he's been so shamed and so humiliated. This was like the pimple popping. And you look at Chris Rock, obviously he handled it pretty well. He went back into the joke, but we really kind of need to look at the whole big picture. These are a bunch of, culture elitists that really don't care about us, that are doing an award show where I don't think there was even black members of the Academy about 2 years ago. And you look at the Golden Globes, they had to cancel the Golden Globes. There was on their voting Academy, there was no black people as well. So really, we kind of need to look at the whole issue of this award system. It's all just a bunch of Hollywood back scratching, like, oh, you give me an award because your movie was yada, yada, yada. It's not based in reality. The best movie doesn't actually win. And you look at the art. This is another thing. You look at the top movies from 2021. It's like Spider-Man, Boss Baby. You look at the top movies from 1994, Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, American Pie. I mean, these are classic movies that last the test of time. So our whole art system, Jason, the whole art, forget about just Chris Rock, forget about all these comedians, is dead.